And welcome back to LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the Jobs Podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back. This is episode 93. We took the week of Thanksgiving off, mostly because there's no news for jobs on that day. So why would I do this? Anyway, here we are. We are doing this thing. Sorry, I'm currently looking at something. What's been going on? Nothing much for me. I just sent out a couple of emails in regards to some interviews I would like to conduct with celebrities. I don't know why I'm checking my email again because nothing new is in there. Out of the three people I emailed, four. Out of the four people I emailed, one was from 2 weeks ago, and I bumped up the email again. I said, "Hello, hey, just doubling back on this," and to tell you the truth, I just came back from seeing Zootopia 2, otherwise known as Tutopia in my mind, and I saw an email in C Plus Comedy's Gmail account, not my email account, that said the person I reached out to for one of the people, for that person, that original person I emailed a couple weeks ago, they added the publicist of the other person. So he's like, that was the publicist. I just emailed the manager. Here we are. Now I'm in the middle of the camera. That's good. Then the other three were two people that I know are touring. Or one's coming off a tour and is going to continue his tour next year. And then the other one is touring starting in January. One of them is British. So we'll see if that even happens. I talked to somebody from the UK last year. They might know each other. And then the third person is a pipe dream. I don't even know who this person is. But they had a shit ton of followers. And I got word of their tour next year. So I just reached out and said, "Hey, listen, I would like to talk to this person, but I'm not going to admit that I don't know that person." Anyway, here we are. On this cold, rainy day, I did bike to the movie theater, and I did bike back. You don't want to hear about the movie. That's for the constitutionals. Here's another thing. This episode is about my breakup with LinkedIn. I am sick. I grew tired of LinkedIn. I've always, for like the past, this is 93, for the past 92 episodes, I've just been, just defecating on LinkedIn. I'm just not a huge fan. It seems like business Facebook or adult TikTok. Also, if you're on TikTok and you're an adult, get the fuck off. If you're sitting there scrolling, watch the news. Watch PBS NewsHour. Love PBS NewsHour. Although the New York Times did just update their app to include a video section that functions like TikTok, and all of their videos are now vertical. So you click on the watch section. There's Caroline Leavitt, who is a big piece of shit. And then you just scroll through. And there's no algorithm. They just feed you news stories. I did take a survey last week. I'll tell you this. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this. I take every survey that is sent to my email. Hey, Chad, we want to, in New York Times, Hulu. I've taken so many Hulu surveys. Because the reason I take surveys is because I don't just click on random links. I make sure things work and go where they're supposed to go. But the reason I take surveys is because there's a couple of reasons. I believe it is important to tell the companies that we support, that you like, that you support, or don't really support, what the problems are, what the issues are, to make products better, to make everything great. And then other times, companies hint at what they're going to do, what they want to do, what they think they should do in the future. And a couple of Hulu surveys, I got a couple of questions about things that they've hinted at. This is, a couple of years ago. Nintendo, it's the same thing. Like you can get a survey from Microsoft and say, are you interested in handheld devices? How many consoles do you have? Do you like PCs? What would you say if the next Xbox device was a modular handheld PC? And then boom, you get the Xbox Ally ROG, Ally X, or what the heck it's called. I don't know what's wrong with my voice. Might make some tea later. I really choked up during Zootopia. There's too many references in that movie. There's a Shining reference. It's just, like, who is that for? Don't say it's for the adults. This one's for the kids and the adults. I hate when people do that. Too many references. Just tell the story. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, though. I did really enjoy it. Also, I'll just tell this little anecdote. There were, I know there was at least 4 women because they were blocking the door when I was leaving. But there's a handful of adults in there on a Tuesday at 12. And then there was those aforementioned women. When I heard them, I saw them in the theater at the beginning, and I was like, all right, well, thank goodness I'm sitting up front. And then when I was leaving, they were standing in front of the theater door. Not like, where we're standing in front of the door because we're talking about the movie. They were physically standing in front of the door, like as close as my hands are to the mic. They were that close. And I opened the door and went, excuse me. Excuse me. Oh my God. And then they barely parted the seas for me to walk by. So I'm breaking up with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not a good platform. The premium features have been, much like any of these subscriptions anywhere, have been pushed to the forefront to a point where if you are not paying, you're not getting really much of anything out of it. It would be like trying to start, a YouTube channel and then trying to do it organically and just trying to spread the word about your YouTube channel. But the big thing is they hide the monetization behind, subscriber counts. And then you have to advertise your channel. It's all bad news. And then a lot of times it just felt like favoritism and a lot of just things that were incongruous to how the business world really does operate. And by business world, I mean like job world. I mean like business. I'm just not, and I truly, you could take me, you could take any other person on the planet Earth, and we could both post the same thing. Hey, I'm looking for work. That person would get, 70 million likes. And then for me, it'd be 1. And then somebody would send me a DM. You shouldn't be posting this. How dare you? Which has happened too much. So then I decided, hey, I'm done with this shit. And I turned my head more towards my, I'm sorry, I'm hiding something. I had to move one of the tabs away. I'll move this one down too. There we go. Because I don't want to give a hint at the story, even though you can see it in the description of this episode. But I turned my attention more towards the portfolio website. I'm trying to zoom out here. If you're watching the video, it's not working. You can see my portfolio site. Right here, I did some restructuring. There's my old reel, and there's a photo of me from last year. I don't take a lot of photos of myself. I changed the About page. Really, I just added onto it. Because again, my LinkedIn is. Oh, also I paused my LinkedIn. If you, I paused my LinkedIn because my hair looks horrible. That's what happens when you wear a helmet. And after getting hit by a car last year, baby, I wear a helmet everywhere. I wear a helmet every time I step foot on my bike. But I paused it. I hibernated it, and there's no need for it to be there. So now I have to put my experience on the forefront. So if you're watching the video, you can see that there's a second added paragraph under the About Me page on ChadCWhite.com that says, thanks to a pretty decent career in the media industry, Chad's had the opportunity to work with a series of storied companies. He's produced all kinds of news stories, shows, and movies at the following: NBC News, which is WXA, it's technically NBC News, The Weather Channel, EW Scripts, Warner Bros. Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, and CNN. And then I just updated some language surrounding C+ comedy. I also changed the links to some C stuff on C+ comedy, and I'll get to that in a second. And then that's pretty much it. I think Spotify is down because some of the podcasts are missing. Okay, never mind, they're good. And then I took off. There was a section under my website that led to my LinkedIn, and I just hid that. And then I have a link to my Muck Rack as well as my video editing stuff, and then contact. All right, now when you get to cpluscomedy.com, which we'll load up here, you'll see this is pretty much unchanged with the exception of, if you've ever been to the website, with the exception of the sidebar where instead of just interviews, it says the interviews, because that is the name of the show. The interviews that I do. I've updated language around that. I wrote, watch Chad talk to your favorite comedians, actors, musicians, and more about their latest projects. The biggest issue, I believe, surrounding C+ comedy right now is that people think it's just comedy. And no, while I do talk to a lot of comedians, while it did start out as a lot of me talking to comedians, which I just I'll get to this in a second. But my first interview was 2014, not 2015 like I thought it was. Anyway, while that is true, I do talk to a lot of comedians. I do, in fact, talk to different people, directors, musicians, producers, all that jazz. So I have 3 very important links, and I try to intertwine them as much as possible. Find every video on YouTube. So I've done roughly 83. It's right there. It's right there in the playlist. I've done 83 videos on the YouTube channel on video interviews. See, I'm differentiating that. So if you're looking at the video, you can see there's a section that says video interviews. There's a subhead, video interviews, and it's quite frankly the playlist of the videos. There's no easy way to do this on Adobe Portfolio. I'm thankful it's there because I get 5 free sites and I'm using 2 of them. So that's wonderful. At this point, this is what I need. So you'll see that the latest video is up front, and then hopefully people recognize that this is a playlist. I'm thinking about adding right next to where it says video interviews. I'm thinking about adding hyphen, find the full playlist here, which would make the third link to the videos alone on this page. The third sentence after this is written versions of most interviews prior to 2020 can be found on Substack. Yes, I started a Substack, or actually, I cannibalized my Substack, which I only just wanted to get my name, because there's so many. ChadWhite.com is taken once by a porn star, another by now it's the contractor in Florida, I believe. There's a contractor in Florida who took it, but 3 of us were vying for it. Anyway. So the Substack is the easiest place, and it's free to post the written stuff. I would have done it on the Adobe Portfolio site. However, posting text there even just these descriptions, is a gigantic drag. I cannot tell you how much of a drag it is. It is so tough. and then like trying to make sub pages within pages, forget about it. Like, I'm not kidding. You can't make any of that stuff. So basically, each page either has to be a picture gallery, an embedded post, a button, or a page with written words. You cannot go link within link and make different pages and stuff like that. It's truly not that deep, and it sucks. So I made a Substack. If you click on the Substack link, you go to, it still says Chad White up top. I will fix that at some point. But I spent all day. Today is December 2nd, Tuesday, December 2nd. I spent from 2 p.m. December 1st, Monday, December 1st, all the way until 5:30 p.m. until I fed the pets, of taking. Let's stand back. Of putting up the written interviews. So the way I approach this is there. I have. I'll just show you the Google Drive. It doesn't matter. Every single what's it called, interview I've ever done, I still have access to, and I still have the audio for, I will say, a majority of them. Maybe there's a few missing, but I probably have the audio for, oh God, how many is in this? 90, there's 94 minus probably 4 or 5. So I probably have there's the written interviews, because I used to write the interviews, and now I tried to do profiles. I used to write the interviews, and then I transcribed them, and then I did profiles before AI. And then I said, no more. When 2020 hit and people were willing to do Zoom and do videos, that's when I made the change. Because even in 2020, I still did Jimmy Pardo and Larry the Cable Guy, who were long audio interviews on the phone. I still wrote profiles for them. Anyway, so I have the audio interviews for that. I'll just show you the. Oh shit! I shouldn't have shown the. I shouldn't show the drive. Because now the link's up there. Whatever, I'll change. I'll edit that out. And then there's written ones. All of those audio ones that were just shown are also written as well. And then in the written folder, there's maybe, I don't know how many. There's so many. There's 180 written pieces, but then there's also a lot of duplicates. There's a lot of stuff that's not final. There's a lot of just questions, because I used to write down my questions and now I don't. And then now, bada bing, bada boom, you go to chadblackwhite.substack.com/s/the-interviews. You can see the interviews. And so what I did was I opened up all the ones. I didn't open them up all at once, but I opened up all of the written interviews, the profiles, whatever, and I did it alphabetically, one by one, and I just added them to their own posts on Substack. And I found new pictures, which was a tougher thing. Some of them were not edited. Some of them were not finished, and they were finished on Squarespace when I originally posted them on Squarespace. So it's unfortunate that I do not have a lot of versions of them. What I did was I posted a disclaimer at the top of each one that says some form of, a version of this was originally posted on cpluscomedy.com in whatever year. That goes from 2014 to 2020. And then you can tell these are, even pre other social media, because a lot of these links go to Twitter, or a lot of links go to Twitters that don't exist, to Facebooks. So there you go. That's it. And now you can see. I will say there are exactly 4 interviews. Unfortunately, one of them is somebody big. It's Kyle Kinane, and I cannot find his. I'm almost positive the old laptop that I used to work on is still down there. So I'm almost positive it's on there, because that's where all of this stuff was, and I just threw it on Google Drive. I threw it on separate drive as well, a separate handheld drive. So now I just have access to all that stuff. But the Kyle Kinane one, unfortunately, I just have questions. I have 4 versions of his, all sitting on the Google Drive. One is questions. One is the transcript, and then the other two are like gobbledygook. Oh, and then also one of them is like the pre-writing I did. It's like a description, and then me writing out quotes that I liked from like that he said that we said. So it's unfortunate that I do not have Kyle Kinane's, but I will find his as well as the other three that are missing. And as I was going through, sometimes you'll see, I was going through this and I've spoken to a lot of people before I even did video. I was going through this and I'm seeing people that I'm not going to brag, but quite frankly, I did start the trend on talking to them. Sherry Cola, Janelle James, Nick Dodani, Matt Eisman, even though he was around for a long time. I spoke to a lot of people, and it's crazy how I would look at these people and then just immediately like, who is this? And then immediately go, oh my gosh, I remember this person. Or like see it, or like see the conversation, like, oh my God, I remember this person. Or see a picture and go, oh my God, yeah, I remember this person. There's also people I've spoken to multiple times, but because they were with different, like there's like Leah Rudick is a comedian I've spoken to 3 times, not just twice, 3 separate times. The first time happened in 2015 when she was with her friend Katie Hartman, and they have had a group called Skinny Bitch Jesus Meeting. It's crazy. Lori Kilmartin, I remember talking to her in 2017. The same night, it was 11 p.m. on the East Coast. She was on the West Coast, and she was leaving Conan, and she was going to do a stand-up set because that's what she does, stand-up, and she also writes. But she is prolific on stage. She just goes on stage. She's always doing a set. And that was the same night that the Nintendo Switch details were released, and there was a live stream in Japan, obviously. They were talking about the details of the Nintendo Switch. I remember that distinctly because it was at 11 p.m. And I was watching that and I was talking to her. It was great. And she was in the car. Oh my God. Yeah, there's just a lot of people I'm scrolling through and then there's also people, there's people who don't work anymore. There's people who switched industries. There's people who, I would like there are things in these interviews that I would never say again. Just like very stupid things. So what I want to do is I want to go to with all of these written interviews. I think it'd just be nice to like repost them to the world. So they're already on. If you're looking at the video again, they're already under the video. You can see that from Adam Blau in 2016 all the way down to Todd Graham is unfortunately one of the people in 2019. Well, yeah, you'll show you knows. Ryan Sickler and Ron Funches are also along with Todd Graham and Kyle Kinane, the people and Elliot Glazer in 2022 are unfortunately, so it's 5. Unfortunately, those are the ones I cannot find. And I will find them. So they're somewhere, but they're just not on the Mac. They're not on the hard drive. They're not on Google Drive. So I have to go to the laptop and turn that thing back on and find it. And then some of these these interviews are audio only, and that's just like that's a whole nother thing itself. And they're under the Constitutionals podcast feed. So I linked to that, and I will I've already linked to some of the audio only ones like India de Beaufort and Stephanie Weir. I put them in the same podcast episode, so they are linked. And then who else? I know there's someone else, and I just can't remember. But there's a lot. But I still have to add. There's maybe like 10 or so other audio only ones that can only be found on the podcast. Oh, Janelle James, she's one of the people Janelle James, I talked to her. When did I talk to her? Janelle James, I talked to her in 2017. Ooh, I was ahead of the curve. She's on Abbott Elementary. I helped that. All right, so there you go. Breaking up with LinkedIn. You know what? I'm not going to do this other story because quite frankly, I can't get into it. It's from Wall Street Journal, and I'll tell you the truth, my archive website is not working for me. so that, that's, if anybody, the thing. And then I went to my resume, and it turns out I had already deleted the LinkedIn stuff like two resume forms ago, like two versions ago. And it just links to chadcwhite.com, or not links to, but it just says it right there, as well as my email. Which is odd, considering that sometimes I'll get a text, or no phone call, but I'll get a text, like a spam text saying you applied to this job, and I go, no. I don't sign up for websites anymore, and that's also a big thing. I don't sign up for websites anymore. I if I have to go to a certain website and it says sign up, to apply to this job, it's not happening. But I don't sign up for websites anymore, so you should have my phone number. And you look, I understand. I might be putting myself at a disadvantage by hibernating the LinkedIn. But if somebody truly was going to hire me, then they would do the footwork of going to chadcwhite.com or cpluscomedy.com and going like, hey, this guy's made a name for himself. Oh, he talked to Christian A. Pierce. He talked to Brooke Van Poppelen from Hack My Life on True TV in 2015. See, I can pull that information. I can't do math. But but truly, if you wanted it, then you would go for it. In the same way that I started this whole venture of C Plus Comedy back in 2013. 12 years. It's been 12 years. 2013. Then you, as an employer, should be like, okay, when you see my resume and I apply on, Indeed or Glassdoor or whatever bullshit, then you should be like, wow, he doesn't have a LinkedIn anymore, but I will go to this website. What is this website? Boom, it's right there. And to some extent on my end, it will take me doing 4 times as much as I'm doing right now. What's 1? So 4 times 1 is 4. I was gonna say 0, but 1 is funnier. And that includes the stuff that I did this year, which is move everything from Squarespace over to Adobe Portfolio. When I had the job writing for that website, creating a muck rack, and not only pulling in what I did for that website, but also pull in everything I did for NBC News. It's easier to say NBC News, and it's also much more impressive. It also involves, not putting off editing a podcast audio and a podcast audio and its video at the same time. And starting News Time again, which is something that I have to do. I made the theme song, and that was the hardest part. Actually, the hardest part, this is going to sound so stupid. I made the theme song, let's pretend May. And I said, I'll start it in the fall. I just haven't gotten to it. It's almost wintertime. I'll start doing it again in the fall. The way I made the theme song, and if you don't know what News Time is the first thing I ever did for C Plus Comedy. It is, you know what? It predates A Closer Look on Late Night with Seth Meyers. It predates John Oliver's show on HBO Max. What's it called? Last Week Tonight. It is, I take a story and I talk about it. And it's only in the entertainment industry. And typically is I'll write about, what's the last one I did? The Super Bowl. The Super Bowl going modern. That was like 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years next February. Since the last time I did an episode. But I talk about it, and that's pretty much it. And there's hundreds of episodes. but it was diminishing returns. I was getting like 2 or 3 views on each one for so much work, and they usually come out on Mondays. But anyway, but that takes me restarting that show. I'm doing what I can. I'm doing my best. I think that's what's important. Also, do people care about celebrity interviews? Now everybody's got a fucking podcast. I'm so goddamn pissed. Sometimes when I sit down with somebody in the industry and I talk to them, I like, if you ever listen to interviews from this past year, you will. I know multiple times I mentioned I've been doing this for 12 years. I've been doing this for 12 years. I've been doing this for 12 years. I've been doing this longer than anyone's been doing their fucking podcast, with the exception of, like Jimmy Pardo and people of that ilk. I'll tell you this. One of these written interviews, so that narrows it down from the 170 some odd interviews I've done, all the way down to the 70-ish, I believe, written interviews. One of these people, out of every single interview I've ever done, everyone has been nice to me, with the exception of one of these people. Like, everyone's at least been cordial, between cordial and nice and chummy. This one person was such an asshole, male. So I'll give you that. And quite frankly, I know he's still working, but I haven't heard of him since. Male, and also, no, this is one of my most, never mind. Male, and I'll say this. He was a Comedy Central regular. It wasn't Kyle Kinane. I'll tell you, that really narrows it down. Now that Comedy Central does not do a lot of live action, or if any, shows. Anyway, that's it. Well, here's an email that just happened. I didn't think I was going to do a story, but here we are. I have to go to the email. Pop it open. This is just breaking news. It's not the biggest breaking news, but it is breaking news. Huh. We knew that was going to happen. Anyway, this is breaking news. This is from Katie Kilkenny at the Hollywood Reporter. The Pitt production assistants unanimously ratify first union contract. I spoke about this several weeks ago in regards to them doing long, like 12-hour plus days, which is, what happens in the industry. But they unionized. The production assistants on the Pitt unionized, and that's great. I also learned this, and then I'll end this episode. I love Nailed It. Nailed It. It's an excellent show. I think it is, quite frankly, Netflix's best show. It ended 2 years ago now, and I thought it was because of the strikes. And then I thought, oh, maybe, Nicole and Jacques' contracts were too expensive because they did 7 seasons of that show. No, it ended because that show was very popular, and the people that work on that show wanted to unionize, which is good. And then Netflix said, all right. Because Netflix was like, all right, we're done. So they didn't shoot the rest of the season of that final season, and everybody else is off working somewhere else. I had to do so much research, so much Googling, Binging. I didn't go to Bing. I use Bing for other things, thanks to Microsoft. The rewards points. You can't do too much Binging, or else they'll say that you're stealing points. All I want to do is play Game Pass. Game Pass Ultimate. I will not be paying for the middle tier. All right. Listen, if you like what you heard here and you want to see the video... Oh, excuse me. Hold on. If you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see everything I've ever done. Go to the website, chadcwhite.com, so you can see everything I have ever done. If you want to see a video version of this show, and see things where I mess up and show the Google Drive URL, Go to youtube.com/C Plus Comedy, where you can see a video version of this show as well as the other podcasts, Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, and the Constitutionals, the entertainment business news show. That's also where I will put up the interviews. If you want to see the video interviews I do under the interviews, go there as well. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, @C Plus Comedy, me, @Chad Black White. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.